We're joined on the line now by the social media law expert Schwarz to talk us about the dangers and consequences of fake news being spread through social media. Diana, good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. When it comes to a situation like this, you've got government trying to put out as much interrogated information as possible. It seems not everybody agrees. There are one or two scare stories out there.
Yes, unfortunately, Stephen, as it goes with social media, I think what we've become accustomed to almost, which is the sad state of affairs, is that there is a lot of fake news that gets spread on these platforms, and at times it's very difficult to actually decipher between what is actually real and what is actually fake when it comes to verifying accurate information.
How does someone tell? I mean, if you're on Twitter or Facebook this afternoon, is it possible to tell? Should you just try and stick to official accounts? I mean, the official accounts sometimes seem to be behind, but are actually the people who verify rather than just put information out there.
Yes, that's correct. I mean, there are a few different types of fake news that generally do the rounds, but the best way to find out or verify if the information source is actually accurate is to look at the website that you're looking at, the link that you're looking at, who is the author of that site? Is it a credible source? Can we verify the information? Is there an author or a particular news site that can be tracked back to somebody who can be accountable? Those kind of things are quite important in looking at and being able to decipher. Also, what's quite important that a lot of people don't know is with websites we have the beginning starting with HTTPS, and S stands for website actually being safe and secure and not extracting personal information. So those are just a few tips. It can be difficult though, because a lot of the time fake news will contain some facts that are in fact true.
At the same time, I mean, it's actually quite difficult to hold people accountable. If they spread fake news, sometimes it's almost impossible just to track them.
Yes, it is. I mean, unfortunately, there are a lot of sources and there are a lot of different intentions behind spreading news and, causing panic and chaos. And it is quite a difficult road to trace an individual or a source, but it can be done. And I think that we as the public just need to make sure that whatever we are sharing is actually verified and we're not causing panic and alarm for no particular reason.
What can authorities do about this? I mean, we've seen the Health Minister, Dr. William Kiza, and his officials basically give a press conference or issue a formal statement, in a very carefully done formal statement on a letterhead, the whole bit, right? Goes out on a PDF form in a WhatsApp group, makes it easy to tweet. Does that kind of thing work for a while until someone starts to copy it?
I think so. I think it does work. And again, we have to look at the actual document. And in this day and age, it's easy to fake a document and put on somebody else's header or title or an organization's logo. But we have to actually go back to checking that document and being aware and picking up certain red flags that we can have a look at that are not always, easily be identifiable by the naked eye. So it's a very tricky situation that we have on our hands, and there's a lot of fake news that is being disseminated. But we do have organizations who help to combat this, and one of them is Media Monitoring Africa. And they have a particular tool called the No News tool that you can actually download, and it actually scans through the information that you're reading to identify whether or not it is a true source or not.
Do you think, Diana, I mean, I know some countries have implemented some sort of law against fake news on social media. It's incredibly controversial because obviously it can be used in all sorts of different ways. It's been used against political opponents in some countries. I mean, do we need to start looking at that? I mean, the problem, of course, is someone might have to prosecute, I don't know, the American president if they say something that's not true.
Look, it's certainly going to, I think it's going to happen. We're going to see cases that are actually tried in court where the perpetrators of these campaigns are taken to task. And, we've already seen it overseas, and it's definitely coming, especially when it regards to personal information or misleading individuals to influence action. I mean, we've already got a lot of fake news that incites violence and hate speech online, and, those are definitely actionable in terms of the law.
There are people with all sorts of agendas. I mean, you've got anti-vaccination movements, you've got people who have very particular agendas regarding the extremes of our politics here and in other countries. The problem with something like the coronavirus is it's a really good opportunity for some of them, isn't it?
Yes, it is. To actually cast a shadow upon what government is actually doing. Are they actually doing enough to protect their citizens, etc.? How did the virus enter the country? How did we let this happen? And a lot of propaganda can happen, a lot of, swaying the public opinion towards one party or another can happen as to what is actually, the best in terms of the people's interests and how they're being protected.
Do you think we're ever going to be able to stop this, Diana, or do you think this is something we're just simply going to have to learn to live with?
I don't see that we are going to be able to stop this in the near future. However, I am confident that we will be able to identify it and educate people on how to identify it. And in that, hopefully, we'll be able to stop the impact to go further than it needs to.
All right. Well, thank you very much indeed, Diana Schwarz. Do appreciate it. Social media law expert there. You get the sense that she's someone whose services are going to be very much in demand during this time of the coronavirus.